wife asked for an open marriage, but I told her it wasn't necessary since we were already over, and she was free to leave with the guy she was cheating with. A few days ago, my future ex-wife Gema, 25, and I, 26, got into a huge fight over my accusations that she was cheating on me. We've been married for 2 years, and overall, together for 4 years. However, in recent months, she's started acting more and more suspicious. She's having an affair with one of her work buddies. You know the usual signs. Coming home late every night, staying up late texting someone and claiming it's just work, and just generally acting weird. At first, I never even thought she might be cheating. I just figured she was stressed from work, which is why she was acting off. 2 weeks ago, her phone vibrated while she was showering. The screen showed the name of a coworker I know. I'd seen this person a couple of times with Gema. For some reason, I answered the phone, planning to tell that coworker that Gema was in the shower and to call back later. But as soon as I answered, Gema yelled something from the shower that I couldn't make out, and on the other end, someone started talking. They said they were calling to see if she wanted to grab lunch the next day, and just as I was about to tell them that Gema was in the shower and to call later, they hung up. When Gema got out of the shower, I confronted her about it. She didn't seem bothered at all. She simply told me that I must have mistaken the contact, and that the person she'd spoken with was another coworker. According to her, maybe they had been asking if they could go out to lunch with a client, not just the two of them. She was so chill about it that I nearly started to think maybe this was normal. But the rest of the day, I couldn't shake it. That's when I started to consider that maybe she wasn't being faithful to me. I brought it up a couple of times over the next few days, but she just brushed me off, saying she was overthinking it. Since she wasn't willing to talk, my suspicions only grew stronger. I decided to dig a little deeper for my own peace of mind. I tried checking her phone, messages, calls, and stuff while she slept. But maybe she'd gotten more careful, because I couldn't find anything. Nothing to confirm or deny my suspicions. The next time I tried talking to her, she ignored me, and I felt like I was losing my mind. A couple days ago, Gema sat me down seriously. I thought we were finally going to have a heart-to-heart about everything on my mind and figure out the truth. Instead of addressing my concerns, she told me that work had been really stressing her out and that she felt our marriage was losing its spark. She said she felt like she jumped headfirst into this relationship and marriage without really thinking it through. She mentioned that since we're both pretty young, we should probably be exploring life on our own right now. However, she didn't want a divorce. Instead, considering open marriages are supposedly becoming more accepted, she suggested we give it a try. Well, I don't know what society is accepting that these days, but I don't know many people who are trying out that nonsense. That was it for me. That was all I needed to hear. I immediately told her we didn't need any marriage arrangement because she was free to leave. I told her I knew all about her coworker, that she'd been having an affair, and even though I couldn't prove it, I just knew. I said she was free to go with him and didn't need to worry about our marriage or keeping it a secret, because I was filing for divorce. She started yelling at me, saying she had no idea what I was talking about and that she'd always been loyal. Yes, loyal to infidelity. I brought up that phone call once more, but she insisted I was being paranoid and overreacting. I told her it didn't matter because if she was even considering an open marriage, I wasn't interested in being with her. To me, the mere suggestion was an insult. The fight escalated. There were lots of insults, and in the end, she stormed off, furious, after packing her bags. I didn't stop her. It's been 3 days since we last spoke. That's when everything exploded. I think I just gave her what she wanted. A free pass to be with her lover. And I wasn't expecting her to take the divorce, too. Before continuing, don't forget to subscribe. New stories every day. Update 1. No, I haven't crawled back to her. I just didn't have anything new to update until now. But I'm now pretty sure, or at least more sure than before, that she was cheating on me and was just upset because I found out. It wasn't anger over doubting her fidelity. It was anger because I thought she'd take my word for it completely. I talked to my parents about it, and they said they're going to get me a good lawyer. I trust their judgment since my dad used to work at a law firm, so I guess I don't have to worry about the legal side of things. That said, it hasn't been easy over the past few days. The more I think about it, the more I realize just how much of a fool I was. Somewhere deep down, I still wanted to believe that maybe she wasn't cheating and that there was a perfectly innocent explanation for everything. But after she asked for an open marriage, there was no doubt. I might be missing concrete evidence, but I don't know if that matters anymore. Besides, I don't think I could ever accept the idea of opening up our marriage. I mean, it might seem modern to some, but it just isn't for me. Those who want to try it can do so, but at least don't use it as an excuse to cover up their infidelity like my soon-to-be ex-wife did. She's right, we're young. But when we were dating, we both were pretty clear that we were serious about getting married, since neither of us was into casual relationships. I guess I stayed true to that, but maybe she changed her mind. Either way, there's not much left to do except deal with the facts. I suppose that's the hard part of all this. I've been keeping myself as busy as possible. I've spent a lot of time at work just to distract myself, and when I get home, I tackle chores or just watch TV to drown out my own thoughts. Last night, I ended up packing all of the stuff Gema left behind. I put it all in a box so it'll be convenient for her to grab it next time she shows up. To be totally honest, I was tired of seeing her things scattered all over the place. I just didn't want them reminding me that I once shared a life with this woman, and now everything's ruined because of her. Anyway, I don't know when she'll get in touch with me again, but I know for sure that our marriage is over. It's not like she cared about the marriage from the start, which makes it a bit easier for me to emotionally detach. Update 2. It's been 4 days since my last update. 2 days ago, my dad connected me with a lawyer, and this morning we filed for divorce. Bam, just like that. Everything moved so fast. It was a huge step, and I felt terrible about it, but as I said, it had to be done. By chance, a couple of hours ago, Gema showed up. We hadn't spoken since our big fight, after which she left the house, so I was pretty surprised to see her, because I figured she was busy. When I opened the door, she asked if I was still mad at her and if I still believed she had been cheating or whatever. She said it as if it was completely impossible and treated the whole situation like it was just a normal disagreement we could easily fix with a chat. But for me, this wasn't a small argument that could be solved so simply. Before I could say much more, I told her that I had already filed the divorce papers that very morning and that she'd probably be hearing more news soon. She definitely didn't see that coming. She was stunned and didn't say a word for the first few minutes. I took that chance to tell her I had packed a box with her stuff, and she could grab it and leave if she wanted. After all, I'm the owner of the house. I inherited it from my great-uncle. So if anyone needed to leave, it was her. Then she started arguing with me, saying I was overreacting and couldn't believe I'd file for divorce over some stupid fight like this. She claimed she'd come by to talk things out, to fix everything, but now she was second-guessing herself because, according to her, I was acting like a lunatic. Apparently, she thinks I'm being irrational, but from where I stand, I was the only one acting sensibly. Let's be real. Even if I assumed she wasn't cheating, she still suggested an open marriage, which I just couldn't accept. It only deepened my suspicions. If she still expected me to sit around waiting and crying for her, then she was wrong. I told her there was nothing left to fix because I couldn't trust her anymore. Even after everything had gone down, the very least she could have done was to be honest with me and respect our relationship by telling me the truth. But even now, she acted as if she were completely innocent, trying to manipulate me into believing that her behavior was normal and that I was just being paranoid. I told her the way she was acting was disgusting, and I just didn't want to be with her anymore. I said it was over. Honestly, it felt like a huge relief. I thought it would be much harder than it ended up being. Of course, she didn't take it well. She thought I was throwing a tantrum right there on the porch. Not wanting her to embarrass herself, or me, in front of the neighbors, I invited her inside. That's when she started yelling even louder, calling me a suspicious freak and a psychopath, and blaming me for ruining her life. I said nothing in my defense. I didn't think it was worth defending myself because I knew I hadn't done anything wrong. She was just getting defensive and trying to make me look like the bad guy, because deep down she knew she'd screwed up and couldn't own up to it. She needed a scapegoat, and apparently, I was it. I just let her yell until she finally ran out of steam. Then she collapsed on the couch and started crying like a little kid. Even then, I said nothing. I didn't feel the need to comfort her. Besides, even if she wouldn't admit it, I knew she'd been cheating on me. I wasn't about to sit down and try to console her while she cried. But for some reason, when she realized I was just standing there silently as she screamed and sobbed, she started accusing me of being uncaring. I really expected her to want me to sit next to her and comfort her, which didn't make any sense to me since I had just filed for divorce against this woman. She was the one who'd been dishonest for months, or however long her affair lasted. I don't get why she thought I'd be kind enough to console her. I told her she was being ridiculous and that she needed to leave because we were wasting our time on her tantrums. I made it clear that nothing was going to change my decision, so she should just go. Once again, she got hysterical and started insulting me, something she hadn't done until then, and that was when I finally drew the line. I handed her the box, told her to take it to her car, and leave, unless she wanted me to call the police. Honestly, I couldn't deal with the nonsense any longer. I'd put up with enough, and she still refused to be honest with me. There was no reason to keep dealing with her. It was over. But then she refused to leave. She said she'd invested too much time and energy in this relationship and wasn't going to walk away without at least having a civil conversation about everything that happened. She told me I absolutely had to give her a chance to explain, that I couldn't treat her as if our marriage and all our time together meant nothing. I wasn't really willing, but she seemed pretty determined. So I told her that if she could behave normally and keep her composure, maybe I'd listen. But if not, she should leave. Immediately, she stopped crying, wiped her tears, and admitted that she had, in fact, been cheating on me. She confessed that she'd been trying to manipulate me into thinking otherwise but that she was ready to be honest now. She said she genuinely wanted to give our marriage a second chance and believed we could work things out. She even suggested couples therapy, saying she'd cancel the divorce and that we could try to fix things because she still had faith in us. She went so far as to propose an open marriage to do it right for me, so that it wouldn't count as cheating. I nearly got choked up by her supposed generosity, but I wasn't at all surprised. I'd known all along she'd been cheating on me, and hearing it straight from her was just a form of vindication. But I told her there was absolutely no way I was giving this marriage a second chance. For me, it was over the moment I realized she'd been unfaithful, and her suggestion of an open marriage was like putting cement on a corpse. I told her, once again, that her coworker was free to have her all to himself now. I wasn't interested in couples therapy or any of that. Therapy is for problems that can be fixed. This wasn't a problem. It was a decision she made to cheat on me and then try to manipulate the situation. Those weren't mistakes. They were conscious choices, and now she had to deal with the consequences. That's as simple as it gets. I told her it took her way too long to confess that she'd been cheating. So if she really thought she was doing me a favor by telling me the truth, which I had already figured out, then she was delusional. I also told her it wasn't her place to decide whether I should give our marriage another chance. She didn't have the moral high ground in this situation. It was my decision, and I had already decided that I didn't want to be with her. That's why I filed for divorce this morning. Now, she could cry, throw tantrums, or insult me all she wanted, but nothing would change my mind. She wanted a civil conversation. Well, she got one. Now she had to leave. This time, I was very firm and made sure she understood that if she tried to stick around for more than a month, there was nothing she could do about it, and I'd call the police for sure. That wouldn't end well for her. I had already packed her things for her. Anything else she needed, she could come back for later, but for now, I just needed to be left alone. I was sick of her and her presence. Once again, she started sobbing, begging me not to leave her, saying it was a mistake and that it would never happen again. Words that meant nothing to me. And it was all over. I pulled out my phone, and when she realized I was about to call the police, she finally left. Not before making a series of comments about how cruel and heartless I was, how marrying me had been the worst mistake of her life, and stuff like that. If she had that to say, then fine, I had plenty to say about her too. I'm glad our marriage is officially coming to an end. It's such a relief. Honestly, I feel free to say whatever I want now. I'm just relieved that I can finally move on with my life. For the last few days, ever since that phone call, this situation had been consuming me. After she left, I finally uncorked a very expensive bottle of wine we'd been saving for a special occasion. I ordered takeout because I wanted to celebrate the day. Clearly, I wasn't losing out on anything. If Gema had truly loved me, it would have been easy for her to stay loyal, as I stayed loyal to her. And in the last 2 weeks, I think I've had enough drama for a lifetime. Now that she's gone, I deserve to celebrate. I'm happy for now. Let's see what the divorce brings, but I'm sure I can handle that, too. The worst is behind me, I'm sure of it. Update 3. It's been 2 weeks since my last update, and Gema's already been handed the divorce papers. That was the excuse she used to call me. I'd forgotten to block her, and I was a bit curious about what she had to say, so I answered the call. On the phone, she asked through tears if I was really sure about everything. I told her I was 100% sure. She didn't say anything else afterward, she just hung up. About 15 minutes later, I got a text from her saying she was really sorry about everything and that I deserved better. She said she was very remorseful for disappointing me the way she did. She added that she still loved me and had already ended things with her affair partner right after I found out, because she felt guilty about it. I'm not sure what she hoped to achieve with that, but it definitely didn't make me feel any sorry for her. Maybe she was trying to manipulate me. The rest of the message was just her apologizing over and over. I don't really know what I was supposed to do with that, but in the end, she said she was going to accept all the terms of the divorce because she knew she probably already caused enough chaos and didn't want to add to my problems by disputing anything. That was the part that really made a difference for me. I'd been waiting for her to put up a fight, to try and wreck my life even more than she already had. I thought she'd try to get revenge, but this turned out to be a pleasant surprise. I won't have to spend any more time on this than absolutely necessary. We just have to wait for the state-mandated waiting period to pass, and then it's all over. It feels so strange to think that after all this time, she and I won't be married anymore. We'll never talk again, and we'll never live together. But still, it's a new beginning for both of us, especially for me, and I hope I can make the most of it. She was right about one thing: we're young. Now that I'll be single soon, I plan on exploring who I am and working on self-improvement. And no, not that kind of exploration involving rolling around with strangers. For me, romance is off the table for a while, but I'm definitely going to try new things, keep busy, and work on becoming a better version of myself. Just healthy stuff, really. Many thanks to everyone who commented. Your support and positivity have made a real difference, and I'm truly grateful. Update 4. It's been 6 months since my last update, and I'm officially divorced now. The process was relatively smooth. I barely had to see her, and when I did, neither of us spoke directly to the other, so everything went pretty well. I wouldn't say I'm doing fabulous, but I'm better off than I was when I was still posting here. I've started going to therapy on my own, and it's been a lifesaver for getting through all this. I've also started writing again, one of my favorite hobbies, and I've been posting some stuff on Instagram. People seem to like it, so I'm even thinking about starting a page just for fun. I haven't been on a single date in the past few months, even though many friends have tried to set me up with someone. I think I just want to be single for a while and focus on myself. Everyone already knows exactly why Gema and I got divorced. I didn't feel the need to hide the truth just to protect her reputation. She brought it on herself, so I told everyone the truth, and obviously, everyone sided with me over her. I don't really know what she's up to now. She's deactivated all her social media accounts and hasn't been active since our divorce was finalized. I think the last I heard was that she quit her job and was staying home, but that was a few months ago, so things must have changed by now. Honestly, I don't care. Speaking of my in-laws, they tried to change my mind after finding out about the divorce a couple of weeks after my last update. But as I said, I'd already made up my mind, and nothing was going to change that. They were really upset and begged me to give her a second chance. They even came to my house, pleading with me. I asked them, would you expect Gema to come back and try to fix things if I'd been the one cheating? That didn't sit well with them, and after that, they blocked me. I feel no remorse. I can't understand why they ever thought they could make me change my mind. I used to respect them and got along well with them, but that doesn't mean I was going to sacrifice my dignity and take Gema back. Anyway, that's all behind me. I'm looking toward a better future, and I just wanted to share a quick update on what I've been doing. So, thanks for all your support. Update 5. Hey everyone, it's been 3 years since my divorce, and honestly, I've never been happier. I started dating my new girlfriend about a year and a half ago, and I recently proposed, and she said yes, so now we're engaged. We're planning to get married before the year's out. She knows everything about my past and has been incredibly patient, kind, and understanding, especially since I wanted to take things slow at first. But yeah, I love her and couldn't be happier. I really didn't expect to find love again so soon. That said, I met Gema for many years before we started dating, and even then she betrayed my trust, so nothing is ever certain. But now I feel that if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. When I told my new girlfriend my story, she said, "Open relationships are stupid. If you want to sleep around, go be single," which totally won me over. Sure, that wasn't the only reason, but she really feels strongly against it, and we're on the same page. Why be in a relationship if you're just going to cheat? If that's what you want, stay single and do whatever you like. There's no need to hurt someone else. I'm truly happy with her and can't wait to get married. I haven't heard anything from Gema since the divorce. Personally, that's fine with me. But I've heard from friends that she's reactivated all her social media, is dating someone new, and even moved to another state. Good for her. I hope she finds happiness because I'm letting go of grudges. We weren't meant to be, and in a way, it's better that it ended. Also, some other things I've heard about Gema over time. Her relationship with her affair partner didn't end because she realized the damage she'd done to me, but because her lover wasn't ready to commit more seriously. That's why he disappeared after our conversation, probably thinking, if he doesn't want me, neither do I. Does that change anything now? Not at all, but that's my 2 cents. As I said, I bear no grudges. I just say I'm happy with my life. Update 6. I got married a month ago, and it's been just over a week since my wife and I got back from our honeymoon. But don't worry, she didn't ask for an open marriage on the honeymoon, and I'm not here to talk about that. The big drama happened before my wedding, but I've left it all behind because I wanted to give my full attention to my wife, the wedding, and the honeymoon. A few days before the wedding, my ex emailed me, which caught me off guard since I never blocked her number, but I guess a long message was easier that way. She talked about a lot of stuff regarding her current life, things that aren't really important. What did matter for you all is that she asked if I thought there was any chance for us to have another go after all this time. She even mentioned knowing about my wedding, saying she could see that I'd healed, that I'd been able to trust love again, and maybe even trust her again. She didn't say whether she was in a new relationship. The last I heard, she wasn't, or if she was just asking for another open relationship. I haven't responded. I don't want to feed her any false hope. I guess my marriage tells her all she needs to know. She knows I'm not going to have an open relationship with my wife, and that's the final answer.